Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday night. Welcome into another episode of the Money Stop. Apologies for the little bit of delay there, trying to get set up. Decided to do a little bit of a last minute episode tonight for you guys. Hoping that we could at least try and do something for you guys, but just really, at least, kind of relieved that we were able to pull something off kind of last minute. These weeks are going by a little quicker as they go on. So we're inching a little closer to the chase here. So it's down to the money stop time with just trying to get these episodes in weekly in between these races. But I am once again joined by my co-host Laner.
Hello, everybody. Good to be back.
Yes, sir. Um, we have a good episode planned for you guys as always tonight. Um, Hopefully, you guys are tuning in from wherever you are, um, and hopefully will have you guys tuning in for a great episode tonight. We have planned. So let's get underway with it. I think we lost a couple people on the stream just with the delay, but hopefully um, they'll find their way back as we go through the episode. Um, so we had Iowa this past weekend, as anybody who's watching may know. Um, right off the bat, just a huge win for Benji. Um, you know, Flat out dominated the race, I would say, um, and was really just really impressed with how the car handled all night. I mean, it really just seemed like the team was executing on all cylinders, was perfect. It was a perfect night for that team. Um, they led 153 laps, more than anybody else who led laps by far. Um, just a flat out domination type of win though for Benji, and in the points that put him up to a pretty good position, moved him up to third. Um, Obviously, we'll get into the points a little later, but um, it definitely. I think that this win gives him a huge boost of confidence. At least, hopefully, moving a little bit away from that cut line. Now it's more important than ever. Um, but you know, like he started fourth, I believe, during the race on Friday this past weekend. Um, like he did not win the pole. He was a couple tenths off from the pole, I believe, like a tenth off. But um, went up there and took the lead and just had a flat domination of a performance.
Yeah, I mean it was pretty impressive. Nobody really was able to compete with him all night. I don't feel like, at least not consistently. Um, which kind of sucks for me at least because I feel like we had the only car that could compete with him. Our race was kind of a roller coaster. We kept getting spun out. And whenever we finally did find ourselves in second to compete with him, we went up there and we're about to pass him for the lead, and then caution comes out, and then we get wrecked on the next restart. Um, so yeah, kind of an unfortunate race for us at least. I feel like we definitely had the car to compete for that win and possibly win the race. I mean, we were closing in on him, and I was about to take the lead before that caution came out. So yeah, kind of a crappy race for me at least, but yeah, hats off to Benji. Definitely very dominating performance. Um, yeah, I mean, he really just went out there and kicked everyone's butt, so nobody really came close to him. So yeah, he did what he needed to do.
Yeah, and I don't did I know I didn't pick him. I think I picked Land, but did you? I think you picked Parker.
Yeah, I think we both picked Parker actually, or maybe not. I don't really remember.
I think I picked either Land or Lego. I know I didn't pick Benji, but um, I think on weeks where I don't pick Benji, maybe that's a good luck thing for him. Maybe. I don't know. Because I feel like any time that I've picked him, he has not won. I don't know if you could say the same thing either, but I feel like any time that I've picked him, um, it has not gone his way. So
Yeah, I don't think our picks are really doing too hot this season. I know last
I don't
season
think
we
so either.
we had a string where like we picked the winners correctly, but this season I don't even know if we've got one right all season.
I don't think so either. You know what's crazy is like we're only on the fifth episode of this season, and it's week 7, week 8 now. Like
Yeah.
season's almost halfway over. It'll be halfway over by the end of this weekend. Um, so it's just kind of crazy to put into perspective of number one how fast the season is flying, but um, number two, just how many moving parts there are, you know, in what we're doing with the podcast in conjunction with how fast the Cup Series is moving. So kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah, we've had to double up a few episodes because we've missed a week or two. Um, but I think last week we had to do put two races into one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the season's really flying by, and we got a double header this week, which I know we'll talk about. But yeah, it's going by really quick. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, we've got a great couple weeks coming up. So I think we are in for a couple of great races coming up, especially with this weekend. I'm really looking forward to the races this weekend, and I think they'll be putting on a great show. Um,
Yeah, I mean, I think the this double header is going to kind of pave the way for who is going to make the chase.
yeah,
Like if you position yourself good coming out of this doubleheader, and I know we'll get into the points, but they're really close. I think if you position yourself good coming out of the doubleheader, you can kind of start to take a deep breath heading into the final stretch. But if you don't have a good doubleheader weekend, man, you're really going to be sweating it. Because to me, these are the last normal tracks that we go to in the regular season.
yeah,
These are the only two tracks that we visited last season in this car. Well, I guess we went to Daytona in this car, but Daytona is its own wild card. So you got Bristol and Las Vegas, and then after this we go to DC, and then we have Disney World and Daytona. I would say all three of those are extreme wild cards. So these are really the last two predictable tracks, in my opinion. So if you don't position yourself well coming out of this doubleheader, I would definitely be kind of hitting the panic button.
yeah. And I think on top of that too, we just talked about Benji, who won at a short track, going to another short track this weekend of Bristol, and he may be the most confident that he's been this season so far after this win. So I'd be very interested to see um, what type of speed the team brings to Bristol. I believe they're checked for Bristol, but let me check before I misstep myself because I think between Friday and Saturday there's different people checked. So um, yeah, he's checked for Friday. For Saturday's questionable though. So I think at least for Bristol, um, he is probably going to be in a very good position. I would say. Um, it seemed like I don't know, just he was very comfortable. He knew how to maintain his own pace throughout the race, and he held his own really well. Um, so I honestly think that maybe we'll see that again this weekend. I'm not really sure. Um, we'll have to see, but I definitely think that everybody should kind of take note of what they saw from that car and that driver because he's definitely going to be building upon that over these next few weeks.
Yeah, Benji's just it's hard for me to know because and this was last season too. Like, it's not like a specific type of track that he normally does well at, and you never really expect it either. Like, there'll just be races he'll just show up to and just lead like a ton of laps and dominate the race. And sometimes it doesn't work out for him. Like North Wilkesboro earlier in the year, he led a bunch of laps and he didn't win. But it's like you just don't really know when it's going to happen. Like, it could be at Bristol, it could be at Washington, it could be at Homestead. Like, I couldn't really like point it down to a science where he's good at short tracks or he's good at intermediates or he's really like, it's just kind of random to me. And I'm not saying that as a knock against him because obviously going out and dominating races is good no matter where you do it. But I don't know that I've fully like zeroed in on like what track type that team is good at. And I guess you could maybe say it's the short tracks, but like he's also done this at intermediates too. So I don't know. There's just some weeks where the team shows up and they just hit on it, and then there's other weeks where they'll just run like third to fourth. It's just
Yes.
really kind of random to me. It's just like a flash in the pan, and then they'll run third or fourth the next week. So I don't know. You just never really know whenever Benji's going to go out there and have a performance like that.
Yeah, I mean, on the other end of it though, um, I feel like it kind of leaves you on your toes of like when the next performance like that could come
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
you know that he's going to have another great performance um because the team is easily capable of it um but the question of it is when that's going to happen, and I think a lot of um people don't really look at that team as like a flat out dominating team right now, or has been a flat out dominating team. But I mean, you know, give the guy some credit. He did win in dominating fashion, um, and I think that you know, just judging off of how the season has went for them, I think it's a good step in the right direction for them. So um, maybe who knows? The next couple weeks there will be another race that comes up that presents the same opportunity for that team to go out there and perform really well.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure it'll happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened at Bristol or Vegas or
yeah,
even DC in a few weeks since he won there. But yeah, the team definitely needed that being below the cut line. But I know we'll talk about the points in a little bit. Benji is still not safe with the points, which is crazy because he had such a good points day. But he was also in a pretty big hole heading into the race. But man, he's still not comfortable. So
yeah.
yeah.
Um, I wanted to ask you what you thought of the racing. And I would encourage people to chime in that raced or spectated in the chat as well, if you have not already. Um, but I wanted to ask you how the racing was, just because like we did our own like team testing and stuff behind the scenes and stuff like that. Um, was it any different than that, or like was there any similarities? Like, you know, what did you think about how the racing product was?
Mm, I mean, I kind of just think it was what it was. I mean, I know people were complaining about it being hard to pass, but I mean, I feel like if you had a good car that you could pass people, I didn't really feel like it was hard to pass, honestly. Yeah, I mean it was difficult in the sense that there was only one groove of the track, but I definitely don't think it was hard or difficult to pass whenever you got to somebody. Um, like I mentioned, like I was about to pass Benji before that caution came out. I made other passes throughout the night. Like, I feel like you could definitely pass. The dirty air kind of played a little bit of a part, but you just kind of had to adjust how you were braking in the corners. I feel like you really needed to wrap the bottom, and I know some cars were kind of driving the corners a little bit too hard and weren't fully wrapping the bottom. That's what I found success with. I was just kind of I was watching what Benji was doing during the race and I was trying to replicate it. And whenever I got that really really got that ironed down, I felt like I was pretty fast, and that's whenever I started catching him. So um, I don't know. I think yeah, you could make passes. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. So
Yes.
it was just kind of one of those races to me.
Yeah, and another driver I want to take a second to talk about, because there was huge implications from this past weekend with this team. The number 8 of Tricks um, finds himself in the hot seat yet again. Um, Coming out of this weekend with the suspension um, for reckless driving, question mark. I think, like, I don't know what the official ruling on it was, Laner, but um, maybe you can
What was the question? I'm sorry.
like what was Trix's suspension like officially ruled as?
Well, it wasn't a suspension. He was just parked for the race.
Mm,
There was some contact, several instances throughout the race that we got clips of him making contact with other drivers. It wasn't really just one specific instance. And I mean, he was already kind of on thin ice going back to the penalty at Charlotte. So at this point, we're going to keep escalating the severity of the actions that we give him. So we gave him a points penalty last time. Happened again this week. We parked him. If it happens again, obviously there's going to be a more severe consequence. So
yeah.
unfortunately, that's just kind of where we're at with that situation.
Yeah, and I, I don't want to pull up the points yet, but like he's below the cutoff line. Like this time last week we were talking about um or on our last episode, he was third in points. He was the first driver that was like in that group of drivers that was above the cutoff line that, they were all kind of close and around each other. He's now below the cutoff line, below 6 points below Lego, um, and now finds himself in like a completely different situation um, than last week. And like, you know, time is running out. Like there's not much time left. I mean, he has this weekend with these two races coming up, and then he's gonna have a couple more opportunities. He's got a road course, a regular speedway, and a super speedway. To try and claw himself back um, into the top six that will make it through. To me, I'd be very worried right now if I went from third in the points now to just suddenly dropping down below and, being that far below. Um, I honestly would be a little worried. I know we like to say, it's not time to hit the panic alarm yet. Smack that shit because I'd be hitting the panic alarm by now. I'd be literally preparing for the flattest domination of this weekend as possible. Like max practice, try to win the pole, like max points for every stage. Like it's just this is not a good scenario for him at all. So for him to claw himself out of it, I think number one, he definitely has to improve his track behavior and his performance. Um, we've seen tricks before. He's raced in ROCAR before this iteration of these cars, so we know tricks himself as the driver. Um, but his aggression needs to come down. Um, whatever mentality he has when he's coming to the track, he has a way different mentality than literally any other driver on track. Um, I don't think that that's the way to be racing other drivers. Um, you know, you race people how you want to race people, but expect it back.
Yeah.
How you race people, expect it back. Um, I don't know what's going on in the chat right now, but um, did I say something wrong?
No, it's just an inside joke.
Oh,
I'll tell you about it later. I'm not gonna tell you about it right now.
all right. I was really confused. I was like, did I accidentally say Craggus? All right.
No, no.
It's been a long day and I'm battling a cold, so um, but yeah, I mean, like, come on, let's be real. Like, this guy's a Cup Series driver, probably like was not ready for the Cup Series in the first place. He has 3 wins, but I honestly like. I think it's getting to a point now where we're seeing the same type of behavior every week, and it's becoming a pattern, and it's concerning to me. Um, the fact that just he has not made any efforts to like improve his on track behavior. The first couple weeks of the season, I was like, okay, well, maybe there's still time for him to change the way he drives or his style or you know this or that. Like little things here and there. Oh, you have disconnected. Um, but I really like haven't seen anything change. And I know a lot of other drivers have felt the same way. They feel concerned being around him, and driving around him. Um, Obviously, 100% want it to be safe in and out every week with the way people drive around each other. But like, he takes it to another level. Um, in cases like this, I'm glad that I'm retired because I don't have to deal with this shit every week anymore. Like driving around, driving around everybody um, and things like that. But man, it's wild to me the fact that we're still sitting here having this conversation about on track behavior from him. I mean, and he's got 3 wins too this year, or this season. Um, he's had a great season so far. Um, I'm not going to take that away from him and the dominating performance that he's had, but also you have to beg the question at what cost has that come with? Um, it's come with leaving a team that you started the season out with, making your own drivers the ones that your teammates. They're now, I don't know, maybe enemies or just not really considered your friends anymore, or people you could trust. Um, I don't know if that's the case, but it wasn't a pretty exit for Tricks at that team. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. You tell me later. What's got to give with him?
Well, the unfortunate part is that we have a driver that had championship winning pace to start the season. Um, I mean, he was fast no matter where we went, and I still think he will be fast anywhere we go. But the problem is that whenever you take that guy away from the lead and you put him mid pack or put him at the end of the pack, and he starts racing around other people trying to get back to the lead, the way he does that is what bothers people. Um, we're not bothered by him going out there and leading a bunch of laps or winning races. I mean, he's very talented, obviously. It's what he does whenever he's not out there leading races. That's where the problems arise. He just I don't think that he's quite figured out how to pass people or make contact with other drivers in a clean way, um, and it's really hurting him. Um, I mean, like I know for me personally, as a full-time driver, I'm not looking forward to racing him at Bristol, and that might be mean to say, but it's honest. Um, so yeah, I mean, I really do hope for the sake of his career, because I think that he does have the potential to win a championship if he cleans up his act. So I hope for the sake of his career that he does clean it up. But if not, I don't know how much longer, this is gonna be a thing, because I mean he's really 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 pushing the limits, and kind of forcing league management into a corner where we're having to take action against him.
Uh,
So I don't know what has to give, but I mean I think he's really on his last straw. Like I think it's getting very close to where we're gonna have to take severe action against him.
yeah. And it sucks too because, he's very fast, he's very talented. Um, but there's also like a severe no tolerance for behavior and performances like that. Um, so it sucks. The whole situation just sucks. But um, will it change? That's the question I guess we have to ask. Um, I don't know. I think with the doubleheader this weekend, I believe he signed up for both races. Let me see. Okay, he signed up for at least Bristol. Vegas, he is questionable. Um, assuming he attends both races, I'd say this weekend, like, he needs to clean his act up. Um, and it's past 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna say he's got to clean his shit up. There's a fucking mess on aisle 7, and it needs to be cleaned up. There's a mess on aisle
Yeah.
7, or a mess on aisle 8 because it's his number, and it needs to be cleaned up. But like I don't know, just I don't know. The whole thing just sucks. It sucks. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell if things will change. Time will tell.
Yeah, I mean,
I swear
yeah,
I'm done. I'm done
I think
cursing. That's my last
I
curse moment for
I
the night.
don't think going to Bristol is a good thing for him. Like, because Bristol is a track where you can make incidental contact with somebody without even trying. Like, we're gonna have drivers, making contact with each other without even meaning to do it. And with his situation right now, and especially with how drivers already are on edge with him, I don't think that's gonna play into his favor. Um, I mean, he is just going to have to race super, super conservative at Bristol, I feel like, which unfortunately, like, yeah, that might suck for him, to not be able to go out there and like push really hard and try to go for the win. But I mean, I, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I just feel like it, if this was an intermediate track, maybe he would have a better shot at racing cleanly, but it's going to be really tough at Bristol, especially with all the tempers that have already built up around that team and the rest of the field lately.
Well, you can go for the win still, but you don't have to be an
You
ass about it.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, like
Yeah,
I think
like
there's a
you
difference,
can.
and this is a whole nother
Yeah,
conversation that I don't know we want to get into, but there's a difference between making contact to try to wreck somebody or making contact to try to get somebody out of the way.
right.
Like if you nudge somebody a little bit out of the groove to try to make a pass, like I think that's fair. But if you go in there and pull an Austin Dillon move, like that's what people are gonna kind of have an issue with. I think there's definitely a right way to make contact with somebody on a short track and a wrong way to make contact with somebody on a short track.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'd love to spend all night talking about this topic, but unfortunately, we do have to move on for
yeah,
time's sake.
yeah,
I do want to highlight the Iowa laps led just to give some spotlighting to our other lap leaders. So obviously Benji led 153 laps, as I mentioned earlier. Aiden led 18 laps, so pretty good showing for that team. um, and still trying to get adapted to the circumstances that he's been put in. Um, Trix led 8 laps and Land led 3, um, and nobody else led laps. So, kind of just puts into perspective how dominating of a race Benji had. So, um, there are your laps led. Um, Thank you, Lego, for continuing to put those together. Um, and yeah, I think that's it for Iowa. And I think we're good to move on. I don't think you had anything else you wanted to mention.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. Well, we're going to put out our race poll, our live race poll. So you guys can tell us what you think now of um, the Iowa race. We're going to give our percentages, predictions first, and then you guys can have your say. Um, I believe last week I was in like the 75 to 80 range of rating Charlotte and Watkins Glen. Um, Watkins Glen actually ended up being the highest percentage of the races so far. Um,
Yep.
crazy that it's that
90%
high.
club.
Yeah. And like Lana and I were talking about this before we went on the air, but we wish that we had started this way earlier, even maybe before the podcast. But um, just for historical purposes, to see where this stuff ranks among each other, um, because it's so fascinating to me because even in the old car, we had so many good races. There were so many bad ones and so many messy and controversial ones, but there were a lot of good races that I think would have been up here on that list, along with you know the newer car feels and um, how the races have been at these newer tracks and stuff like that. Um, so it would have been nice, I think, to start this earlier, but I'm glad we started it when we did because it's better than never.
Right.
We are definitely keeping track of this historical factor, I guess, in ROCAR history. So um, just wanted to throw that out there. But I think for my percentage, I'm going to give Iowa, I would say, a 65. Just like among what I saw, I watched Aiden's POV the whole freaking race, but um, I think that from my perspective, um, I didn't really like see a lot of productive racing. Like I don't know, it didn't really entertain me. I wasn't really entertained, and it was just one of those typical short track races that gets really, really strung out. Um, it's not anything against Benji. Anybody else
Yeah.
literally could have went out there and dominated, and I would have said the same exact thing. Um, but I don't know. Things got very stretched out in Iowa.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Craig has really wanted me to say the line, I guess. Uh, but I said it. I said it. Don't worry. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think a 65 is still respectable. So I think I'll stick with that.
Okay, I think 65 spot on, so I'm kind of upset you took that, but because I think it'll be below 70. I thought it was a good race personally, but just kind of seeing what people were saying, I think it's going to get a lower score. So for the sake of my pick, I think I'm going to go with a 60. Um, I think you're probably going to be closer on this one, but I'll go with the 60%. Also, this is unrelated to the poll, but I did just I kind of made an announcement about it, but I did want to throw it out there. We are asking that people don't vote with media accounts or any type of alternate account, just to try to keep these polls as accurate as possible. Um, we just really want these results to be accurate for historical purposes and in terms of our competition that we do here on the podcast. So it's kind of hard to really get a good read on it whenever we have um, fake accounts voting on polls. So
Yeah.
yeah, that I was just gonna throw that out there.
Yeah, don't throw any bias in either. You know, leave it leave it unbiased. Because we don't want a race winning team voting in favor of it being a good race just because their team won or their team were in good positions and good finishing positions. Just,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Voting strictly on the racing. You could
yeah,
win the race and still vote no. Like we just want to see, like, was it a good race? That's strictly. And I know you can be biased if you won the race. You probably think it was a good race, but um, we just try to want to get the most accurate results possible.
yeah. Um, all right. Well, with that, you guys can go vote. Poll went out about a minute or two ago, so you guys can vote. There are 3 days left for the poll, so we'll see when it closes. Um, Okie dokie. Let's see what's up next here. Team of the week. I don't I don't know if I want to pick a team of the week for a good reason or a bad reason. Because I have two teams in mind, one for good and one for bad, but I don't know. Would you like to go first?
I mean, I guess
Maybe.
you could pick a good one, or I could pick a bad one, or we could kind of do it like that if you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Yeah.
But
Um,
I mean, I think we both have the same good one. I wasn't thinking of a bad one. So if you want to take the bad one, I can take the good one because I'm sure
um,
we have the same pick for a good team.
I mean, mine was going to be CFM.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
So I can take that one, and then you can do the bad team.
Yeah.
How about that? Okay. So yeah, for team of the week, good team, obviously CFM, because Benji went out there and dominated, and Aiden, I would say Aiden didn't have good speed throughout the race. Like for stages 1 and 2, he was probably like a fourth to sixth place car. He was just kind of hanging back there. But then in stage 3, he kind of turned it on and was leading late in the race and kind of had a late charge at Benji. So he turned it on at the end when it mattered and got a good top 3 finish out of it. But overall, I mean, I think Benji definitely had the car to beat, but Aiden did get a good finish out of it. So yeah, I think CFM definitely had the best performance as a team.
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to highlight the bad team anymore. Maybe just for respectable reasons. Maybe that's something we could talk about after the episode. But um, yeah, I let's just leave it on a positive note. Um, you could probably guess where I'm going with that, but
Yeah, I think I think I can guess it.
like I think a lot of people probably could. Um, but I won't go into that. I feel like we did
Well,
elaborate
you
on it.
know, on one end, it was a really good day to drive a Chevy. On the other end, maybe not so much.
True. Yeah. True.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, I think that's probably best if we do that. Um, and what better way to segue into the points? All right. Here's your points after week 7, or race 7, I should say. Um, as always, I have to pull it up on Discord because I can never freaking read on OBS. All right, so Land is your points leader by 1 point at 324 points. Craigus only 1 point behind him, 323 points. Then there's a bit of a gap to third, and then that's where really the battle is for position here. So you've got Benji, Parker, Aiden, Laner, Lego, and Trix all within this battle of each other, within 13 points of each other. For those last 4 spots. Something that immediately jumped out to me when I saw these points was the fact that Aiden is now in the chase provisionally, I guess you could say. Um,
Yeah.
That worries me a little bit. Not, not for any reasons, against him or anything, but what a spoiler this storyline has become for the only reason that, he joined literally like kind of at the last minute here. There's only a couple races left. Having to adapt so quickly under the circumstances that he's in. Um, having to shift the team into different directions so quick too. He finds himself now in fifth, and guys like Lego and Trix are now on the outside looking in. Um, what do you think? How do you think this plays out over the next few weeks? With this, what is it, five-way points battle for the last four spots in the chase.
Well, I do want to mention technically Lego would be ahead of me since he has the win tiebreaker, but that's kind of
Yeah,
irrelevant
well,
since
yeah,
we're tied for. But honestly, I don't know. I mean, Aiden's really only +1, and I really think the reason that he was able to jump above the cut line was because some of the guys that had good speed at Iowa kind of fell apart at the end. I mean, at least for me, like I ran top three all day, and then I ended up finishing dead last because of a late caution. I think Lego maybe finished third or fourth. I don't know, but Aiden didn't get stage points from what I remember. Maybe he did. I don't know, but I definitely don't think Aiden had the second best car, but circumstances found him in a second place finish. So there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, he took advantage of what he had and got a second place finish out of it. But I think that was more circumstantial than him running second place all day. So I still don't know what to think. I think Bristol's going to be a tough track for him, especially not running any previous laps there. I know for me, Bristol has always been a tough track to get the hang of in this car. I feel like we definitely got the hang of it last season, but we got some really tough tracks coming up. I mean, the DC Street Course is going to be really tough for him. Not having any previous experience, that's a track that you really have to hit your marks at. Um, and I mean, Daytona, I think he'll be good at, but I don't know. Like it's really still an unknown to me with Aiden, and I think the tricks thing, I think we will see after the doubleheader um,
yeah,
if he is going to be a serious contender or not. Because if he goes out there and races clean and there's not any more further escalation in that, then we could start talking about Tricks as a serious contender in this chase conversation. But we don't know how that's going to play out. So the way I'm looking at it right now is that this is a battle between Benji, Parker, Aiden, myself, and Lego for that final spot. I don't know about Tricks at the moment
yeah.
because it's just such a fluid situation. So I really don't know what to think about him. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I think at the moment my gut feeling would be that I think I trust the experience of myself, Lego, and Parker a little bit more than Aiden. But I don't know. I mean, it's really close, and I don't think Aiden's bad in these cars. He's definitely run respectfully. He's not finishing dead last. I mean, he's running decent, so
I mean,
he could definitely.
he is 3 for 3 right now. He does have three
Yeah. So
top
yeah, I mean,
fives and
he
three
could
stunts.
definitely find himself up there. I just don't know, like with the tracks coming up, like I mentioned, with I think Bristol and DC, those are both like really technical, hit your marks type of tracks. But we also have Vegas, Disney, and Daytona coming up. So I don't know. I really think it's anybody's right now. I don't know that there's a favorite. I think it'll really just come down to which one of these teams execute down the stretch. Like
Yeah.
I don't even think Benji's safe at +7, honestly. I mean, I know he feels confident about that, but these races are unpredictable. I mean, you're just one wreck away from ruining your whole day and finishing last. That's kind of what happened to me at Iowa. I definitely didn't deserve a last place finish, but that's what we got. That's the cards we were dealt. So, um, and none of these drivers should feel confident right now. I mean, you're literally just one mistake away, one wreck, one bad restart. You're just one small mistake away from losing all of that cushion. Because anything under 10 points, it's you could go from third to seventh just like that. So I don't know. It's going to be a tough battle down the stretch. I really don't know who I would pick in this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I also think too that like if you're not Land or Kragus, just I'd be worried as a whole. Um, Benji obviously is not going to feel comfortable where he is, but like I don't think any of those drivers are going to feel comfortable going into this weekend, especially. Um, I think the good thing to look forward to is that you don't have to wait another week. If you have a terrible week, terrible race at Bristol, you don't have to wait another week for Vegas. It's right around the corner tomorrow. Now, whether you can make it or not, that is a you problem. But if you can make it, that's a good opportunity to try and um, double down on maybe bouncing back for points or for having a better shot at a win. Um, I'd be more concerned about the drivers that are going to miss out on Vegas too, because it looks like the attendance for Vegas is looking very different than Bristol right now. There's a lot more people in the questionable factor than there is for Bristol. Um, Mainly, you've got Aiden, Trix, and Benji that are all in the questionable category, which are three drivers that also are in that situation that points conversation. Um, so excuse me, if they miss out and if they don't have like sub drivers or if anything's set up, they could be missing out on a lot of points during that race. So you know, I'd encourage them to have a plan in place too. If they realize they can't make it, um, which might put more urgency on Bristol for them to win or to try to double down on earning some points. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like almost all the teams are probably putting emphasis into Bristol. Um, at least that's what I would assume. I feel like Vegas is the type of track that you can kind of just show up to without practice and run pretty decent at. It's not really anything crazy, but Bristol is definitely a track where you got to hit your marks lap after lap. And it's not an easy track, especially hopping into it for the first time. Um, so I think the drivers that practice, and especially the ones that ran there last season, are going to have an advantage. But it's also a track where it's very easy to lose track position or have a bad points day, even if it's not your fault. I mean, we
yeah,
kind of saw it last season. We had a lot of chaos and a lot of big wrecks. So I think Bristol is definitely going to be the wild card out of the two. I think Vegas will be more straightforward and we'll kind of know what to expect from that one.
yeah. Um, Side note: you did disconnect again from the server.
Oh man,
Just
I
wanted to
feel
let you
like I'm
know.
disconnecting a lot today.
It's all right. I think we're coming down to the wire here anyway. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think like you said, a lot of teams are going to be putting their marbles into the basket with Bristol planning this weekend. Um, I definitely think it's going to be a little bit of a different race than we saw last season. Just a little bit different. I don't know if there's going to be passing. I really, I think the racing's going to be pretty intense. We did see an overtime finish there last season as well, um, which ended with me in the wall because when in what circumstances does a race not end with me in the wall anymore? Um, I feel like freaking Jimmy Johnson out on track, and when he was racing IndyCar, like he sucked. He ran like last every week. People are like, "Oh yeah, well he still tried it." Yeah, he sucked every week. He had Carvana on the car. He still sucked. But that's how I feel. I feel like, I try my best just to run every week, and I just suck flat out. But um, there's got to be some give. maybe there might be somebody in the wall this weekend in that race, or there might be an overtime. There might be an opportunity for a driver to um, tackle on top of an opportunity in front of them. But um, I think I will save the rest of that conversation until we move to our preview. But um, for now, is there anything else you're looking at with the points?
Uh, no, I mean, I think I don't know if we mentioned it, but Craigus and Land are all but locked into the chase,
Yeah,
barring some extreme catastrophic event. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think the battle is just going to come down to the third through seventh spot, is what I would assume. So it's definitely going to be really interesting. I think we'll have a better idea after the doubleheader. I think
right.
we'll start to kind of see more separation with the points. I don't think it'll be this close leaving the doubleheader.
Yeah, I think leaving the doubleheader, I think will definitely either lock them two in, or maybe after Washington, we'll definitely lock them two in. Um,
Yeah.
I just think there's a big enough gap where, and they're running consistently, kind of, oh, who is this? Oh, hello. I don't know who this is. What a nice
Okay.
surprise. What a nice surprise. You're gone now. Thanks for joining though.
I don't even know who that was.
I don't know either, but I guess they wanted to be a part of the money stop. See,
So
this is why doing live episodes is so fun because you just
they still broke into the I thought you were. I was saying like we used to go to the tracks and people would do that. Now we're in our own studio and people are still breaking into the studio. Like we can't get away from people.
we can't win. We really can't win. I don't know why we didn't just server lock in the beginning, but
I mean, I think the chance of somebody doing something like that's kind of fun. The small chance.
yeah. I was just looking at OBS though, and all I saw was somebody come across the screen. It's like, what the hell? Um, anywho, yeah, I think those two definitely will be locked in just because they've been very, very consistent the last couple of weeks, and they've built enough of a gap now where I think it's safe to lock them in. Um, I just don't see really anything happening between now and then. I mean, like you said, unless something catastrophic happens, I don't see anything really happening. But
Yeah, I mean, Landon and Craigus are just kind of quietly just, putting together good seasons. They haven't been like winning races lately, but they're still finishing consistently, so they're definitely safe for now.
yeah,
So they'll be good to make it into the chase. I can't say the same for anybody else though. Everybody else should definitely be feeling the pressure.
oh yeah, for sure. Um, the pressure is on to perform. That's for sure. All right, we are going to get into our doubleheader preview now. So we've got two big races coming up this weekend. Um, Bristol is coming up first on Friday, and that race is 190 laps. Stages are 50, 50, and 90. Practice will kick off at 8 p.m. Qualifying is at 8:15, and the race is at 8:30. The package you guys can use for when practicing is low dirty air, standard handling, standard draft, and realistic acceleration. Then we get into Vegas. Vegas is going to be on Saturday night. It's 100 laps. Stages are 30, 30, and 40. Practice is at 8:30, so take note of the difference in time there. Qualifying is at 8:45, and the race is at 9. The package is the same for Vegas as it is for Bristol. Low dirty air, standard handling and draft, and realistic acceleration. Um, so, what are we going to see this weekend? Um, I think Bristol's going to put on a good show. I think we are in for two very, very good races, but I know Bristol's going to put on a great show.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking more forward to Bristol than I am Vegas.
Yeah,
I don't know about everybody else, but yeah, I think Bristol will be a lot of fun. I know as a team we ran really well there last season, so I'm looking forward to getting out there to see what our team brings to the track. But also, I know that other teams will probably have gotten faster as we have seen throughout the season. I think every track seems like everybody's just a lot better this season than they were last season. So I think Bristol will probably put on a better show this time around than it did last time. But even last season, I thought Bristol was a ton of fun. It was pretty
it was
chaotic.
awesome.
We had a lot of wrecks and pileups, but the racing product I thought was really fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. Um, as somebody who took part in one the Bristol races, or as somebody who took part in the Bristol race last season, I had a lot of fun. Um, the track was just very like maneuverable. Like it wasn't like I didn't feel like constricted to or restricted to one lane. Um, it certainly like was a lot faster on the bottom groove, but I feel like you could definitely make some headway on the top lane or moving around on the track.
Yeah,
Um, and there was just I think Parker and I like exchanged the lead too a couple times, and we just had a lot of great battles for position. It was a lot of fun. I really really enjoyed it. Sucks that I'll have to miss out because I was really looking forward to trying to participate in Bristol, but maybe there will be room for me at Vegas.
there very well might be.
Maybe, but I think I think for Bristol, I'm going to be keeping my eye on guys like Lego. Um, the short track guys that have been very very good as of recently. Um, Benji is one that comes to mind as well. Definitely going to have to keep our eye on him. I think Craigus is going to be another one to watch as well. Um, I think he ran well here last season, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like he did. He can always fact check me. It's fine if I'm wrong, but I want to say he ran well. And, you know, just with looking at some other drivers, I think, like, I don't know if Aiden's going to struggle. I just think it's going to be much of very much of a learning race for Aiden. I don't know if he's going to get a top five. Like Bristol's a very very cutthroat fast track. Um, so I don't know if he's gonna go 4 for 4, but like a Wendy's biggie bag. But um, we'll have to see.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really know who will be ones to watch. I mean, we could go off last season, but I feel like this season's been a lot different going back to tracks. So it's kind of a wild card to me, especially we got some newer people in the field. Um, so I don't know. I mean, I do think that, Craigus and Lego, Benji will be fast, but we could see some new people also throw their name into the hat. I mean, Trix will be interesting to see what he does. Aiden will also be out there, and he didn't race last season, so we do have some newer people to see what they can do. But Bristol is a very unique short track. I would say it's not really anything like the other ones that we go to. So
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
yeah. I think that people are gonna learn quickly. Those that weren't in the Bristol race last season, I think people are gonna learn very quickly how fast that race goes, but um, how quick people can have tempers at that track. Um, I found it last year that tempers in my head happened a lot quicker than they did at like Richmond per se, or like in Iowa. Things just happened very quick at Bristol, so I'll be very interested to see what kind of tempers flare there.
I agree. Hopefully, tempers don't get too heated. Um, but you know how these races are, so they very well might.
Yeah. Um, let's get to Vegas for a quick second too. Um, I don't really know what to expect from Vegas, but I feel like we could probably predict a similar race to what we saw last season at the end of last season. Um, I feel like not a lot's going to change. It's probably going to be a little bit of a pack race. So I feel like that's what we saw um, with this race last season is that it was like a mini pack race. Like it wasn't. It was still like stretched out, and, you know, um, and whatnot, but it wasn't like crazy. Um, I don't know what to expect with Vegas. I think a lot of people that are not going though, or those that are questionable, I think it's going to be an opportunity if they don't go for some of those other drivers that maybe haven't won yet to score a win or to get some good points. Um, so it could be a good opportunity race for some of these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Vegas isn't like it was last season on the finale. That we did run a different dirty air package, and I remember we did not have a single pass, green flag pass for the lead. So hopefully, with the lower dirty air package, we have some more passes for the lead and throughout the field, especially. Definitely hoping it's not a copy of last season. Might try to add some grip to the top as well and get some multi groove going on Vegas as well. I know it's kind of been more of a bottom groove type of track, and it'll definitely be a bottom groove track with the lower dirty air package. But regardless, I definitely hope that Vegas puts on a better show than it did in the finale because it has been one of the better intermediates in the car, and I'm hoping that that was just kind of a one-off and not the new normal. So definitely hope Vegas kind of redeems itself this time around and cements itself as one of the better intermediates again.
Yeah, I agree as well. I honestly hope that the racing product is very good. Um, I don't know how many cars are going to be racing because obviously it's Monday. There's still a couple weeks or couple days. But I think just depending on how many cars there is, I think will be dependent on how the racing product actually is too.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, if we have a full field, let's say, if it does happen, um, I think the racing product may be better. It may be improved, maybe more improved than what we saw last season. But if there's only going to be a couple cars, I don't know if it's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of going to be another thing is I know that we don't have a lot of people checked for Saturday. I think attendance could also be a thing that plays into the chase battle as well. I mean, it's looking like we might have everybody, but I don't know. It's definitely not the point in the season where you want to be missing a race, so that'll also kind of be something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. Um, let's see. Um, shall we rate the race now? Is this a
Y-
good point to do that?
Yeah, we can go ahead and do that.
Okay. I feel like at some point, I don't know, like I think we made our picks for the chase, but we should probably look back on them to see how accurate we are because I know the whole Aiden thing is definitely throwing us off already. But
Yeah, that's
um,
yeah, kind of a new thing to take into account.
Yeah, we should definitely look back and see if we're being accurate um, in our picks or not. But maybe that's something we can add on for next week's episode. All right, let's rate the race for Iowa. What say you? What are you giving it?
Um, well, it's hard for me because like my rating um that I would give Iowa as a driver is a lot different than I would give it from a viewing perspective because I tuned into the D2 race for a little bit on Saturday and I could not stay interested. Like it was strung out. It was not interesting to me at all. I think I watched maybe 10 laps and then I turned it off.
Hmm.
And I'm assuming that's probably how the cup race was too. So like from in the seat, I had a lot of fun racing Iowa. I think it's a driver's track in the sense where it's a lot of fun making laps. It's not a lot of fun watching the laps. Um, with Benji going out there and dominating, we didn't really have a lot of passes for the lead. I think personally, I'm gonna give Iowa like a 63%.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's a fun track from a driving perspective. I would have liked to see a little bit more lead changes and passing throughout the field.
All right. I'm gonna go a little lower. Um, I know my race poll percentage prediction was a little. I wanted to be a little more generous, but at least for this, I'm gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna go down to like a 48%. Um, I think for me, just the lack of passing was really the main factor. Um, I just did not enjoy the fact that like you were kind of just confined to your position for the whole race once it got spread out. Um, and I just didn't like the fact that like I don't know. Would you say there was enough strategy thrown into it or no?
No, I mean we didn't even have green flag pit stops, so
Yeah,
no.
yeah. I honestly would have liked to see more strategy.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and if there was, I think I would give it a little more of a higher percentage. But um, yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 48.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Iowa has been a good track to us the past 2 seasons, but I think next season I think maybe I'm kind of on the train of I would like to explore other short track options,
Yeah.
maybe something like a Nashville Fairgrounds or you know something else. I think Iowa's been a good track, but I think if I had to pick a short track that we were going to replace, I think Iowa would be one that I would want to maybe explore some other options for. So
Hmm.
it's been a fun short track the past few seasons, but yeah, I'm kind of starting to lean that way where I would like to see explore other options with next season.
Hot take.
I don't even know if it's a hot take, honestly.
No, no, I have a hot take.
Oh,
Bowman Gray.
oh shoot, a points
Con-
race? I don't
consider it.
know.
Consider it.
I don't
Consider
know.
it. Maybe.
I,
Um, or you could throw like I don't know, like a New Hampshire in there. I don't know if a New
New
Hampshire is.
Hampshire would be fun. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I don't
next
know if
season
that's
New Hampshire
considered
should be
like
on the
a.
schedule.
Yeah, I don't know if it's considered like a short track though. That's my only thing.
Yeah, I guess not really. I think New Hampshire would be something that I would like replace with Dover because
Mhm.
they're both like in the mile range. Um,
Yeah,
I think like a Nashville Fairgrounds would be
yeah,
fun, or like maybe like a local short track, maybe like a Slinger, or I don't know, something like that. I don't know.
yeah. Or Stafford. Stafford
Yeah,
Speedway
something.
is
Yeah,
fun when they
there's a
used
lot
to.
of good short track options.
Yeah. Or
Like it doesn't have to be a NASCAR sanctioned track.
you could even do IRP too, like
Oh yeah, I
the
didn't even
Lucas
think
Oil
about that.
track. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean the truck race just happened there, but I mean that track looks so much fun. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, some people chiming in the chat. No Bowman Gray. Hmm.
It would be fun towards the end of the season if we made like our own like fantasy schedule for next season. That'd be a maybe a fun idea.
Yeah, I think that would be fun too. We could probably do that. Um, I would love to see an in-season challenge.
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
that's a
like
good idea.
that would be fun for you guys to take on. What the prize would be, I don't know. Um,
Hey, it's not too late. It's not too late. We could start it this week. It's not too late.
I mean, that,
That would be fun. Actually,
yeah,
that's a good idea. I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where you'd be pulling money from the bank, but
Well, we can just like give him a gift certificate to the Hall of Fame gift shop or something.
yeah, um, we'll pull it out of the money stop revenue,
Yeah.
whatever revenue we've made, 35 cents maybe, but
Yeah.
um, yeah. I thought of that while I was sitting here. I was like, new things, but um, yeah, that's something maybe to explore, but
I like that.
all right. For the sake of time, let's move on to race winner picks for this weekend's races. I would say, like, for Bristol, like, you know, you could pick anybody, but maybe for Vegas, I don't know. My pick might vary based on like who's going to be there.
Yeah. Um think for Bristol I would probably go with man, it's kind of tough, honestly. Um cuz like part of me wants to go with Lego cuz he showed a lot of speed there last season, but I feel like Lego just hasn't fully been the same this season. Up to this point because I really thought he was going to be stronger at Iowa, and he didn't. He wasn't like super strong there from what I remember. I think I'm going to go with Benji for Bristol. Honestly, like I think if we look at all the short tracks this season so far, I think Benji has been the strongest. I mean, he dominated North Wilkesboro too, and he didn't get the win, but I mean, he definitely had the best car. And then he follows it up again and does it at Iowa. So last season was definitely Lego's season at the short tracks. And I think up to this point, Benji has been the guy that has gone out there and really performed well at the short tracks. So I think I'll go with Benji.
All right.
And I don't know if we want to both do our Bristol picks and then go into Vegas or
Um. Yeah. Let's do that. We
okay.
can we can just pick our Bristol picks. Um. I think for Bristol, I don't know. Like I feel like it's gonna be a GFM driver. I'm between Land and Craigus, but I think because I picked Land last week, I'm gonna go with Craigus this week. Um. I think for me, I don't know. Like I have a really good feeling about Craigus coming into this weekend. I think that their team feels very comfortable about where they're at in the points, um, and I mean like he's running decently, but I think that they could definitely use a win. Um, to try and boost them up. They already have a win this season, but I think they could certainly earn another one this weekend. So Craigus is my pick. So that's what I'm going to go with for Bristol.
All right.
Um,
Good pick.
Vegas, I don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to go out based off of who's checked so far. Um, do you want to go first or should I?
I can go. I think Vegas is a tough one because I really think anybody can win Vegas. Um, I don't really know that we're gonna have a favorite. Um, I think for Vegas, I'll go with. think I'll go with Land. I think Craigus and Land
Okay.
will show up and be pretty strong at Vegas, so I think I'll go with Land.
All right. Good pick. Good pick. Um, I I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with Lego. Um, assuming Lego obviously shows up. You know, he's checked, but I don't know if anything's gonna change for any of these drivers between now and Saturday. Because again, we don't race on Saturdays, so I know that things are kind of fluid. But um, assuming that Lego shows up, I think that Lego is one of those drivers that is below the cutoff line, but really, really needs something to boost him up above the cut line. Um, and I think that team right now, like, they're having just a really, really odd season. Um, they had their win a couple weeks ago, um, and I don't really know what has happened,
Yeah.
but I'm not saying I'm worried or anything. Um, but I think the urgency might get to him this weekend. Um, if he does not win a race or score well with points, and the amount of points that you take out of this weekend, um, I don't know what his chances are of being in the chase are after this weekend. So I honestly think the urgency might get to him, and I think Lego performs really well under pressure. He's learned how to perform really well under pressure. Um, and I think this is one of those circumstances where he needs to perform. Like, he needs to show up, needs to bring speed, and he needs to win the race. So I'm going to go with Lego. I feel good about my pick, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I actually meant to mention that during the points, but I thought it was very interesting that Lego won a race, but he's still that far down.
Yeah.
Because I
I
know winning
mean,
a race does give you quite a bit of points, but yeah, I mean, I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, I definitely agree with everything you said. I think there's going to be a lot of urgency for all of the drivers on the cut line, especially. I think really the only two that can afford to, you know, let things loose are Craigus and Land. So
yeah.
this double header should be pretty intense, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think just talking about the points really quick and then we can wrap up. Trix was third and had 234 points. He was so far above and dropped like a rock last week. I don't I don't know. He didn't really have that big of a buffer or a gap to anybody below him. So, even with 3 wins compared to Lego's one, the points seem like they matter more than the quantity of wins that you have. Um,
Right.
so I think for Lego, the point should just be to collect as many points as possible and to go for the win. But whatever. I think when they get to the track, I think they'll know what speed they have. Where they're going to be comfortable running as well, um, and kind of determine from there where if they have race winning speed or not. So
Yeah, I agree.
we shall see. We will see when everything is settled after this weekend. Um, should be a fun race. Set of races coming up this weekend. Got double header action coming at you guys. Bristol's coming up first, and then it'll be Vegas. Bristol is going to be 190 laps, and Vegas is 100 laps. So keep in mind of the times, get your practice in, and have a great set of races. And we will talk to you guys on the other side of this doubleheader weekend coming up. Thanks everybody for joining in tonight on the Money Stop, and we'll catch you guys next week. Have a great
See you
night,
guys.
everybody.